let's go to Amanda Chase, running for State Senate. She's a Republican, District 11. Amanda, great to have you with us.
Well, thanks for having me on this morning, John.
Okay, now, Amanda, you're running against incumbent Senator Steve Martin. Steve's been there for some time. I looked at his voting record. It's pretty conservative. You were the political director for Eric Cantor in your area. Then you were campaign manager for the Dave Bratford Congress campaign for about a month. So Steve Martin, pretty conservative guy, can't really find any liberalism in any of the votes that I looked at. So my first question is, what's your beef with Steve Martin?
All right. Well, I appreciate you asking. And I've actually helped probably about 23 Republican candidates over, I guess, the past 7 years. But one thing that concerned me was watching State Senator Steve Martin, who's represented Chesterfield in the General Assembly for 26 years, failed to win the county during a 2013 GOP nominating convention for lieutenant governor. It was actually the candidate that I was running at the time, Susan Stimson, from Stafford County, who actually beat Senator Martin in Chesterfield, and I knew that's when we had a problem. I also noted that there was no one in the state Senate caucus endorsed him, no one on the House, no one on the Senate side, which was, for me, a red flag. I mean, something's going on. And, I grew up in Chesterfield, schools here, raised here, and the constituents that I talk to, it's more about approachability, professionalism. It's about being able to have a state senator that they feels like listens to them and has time for them. And we just need a higher level. I know it's called constituency service. In my arena of the private sector, we call it customer service level is lacking in Chesterfield. And I think that's where, my experience will come into play.
Okay, so Amanda, let me get this straight. So one of the things you don't like about Steve Martin is that he ran for lieutenant governor and got beat. Okay, there were 7 candidates for lieutenant governor, 6 of them got beat, and the guy that won got beat the worst. So what does that have to do with anything?
Well, I think that he did finish dead last, so that's a concern. I mean, as the state Senate who's been in there since 1987. You would think he would be able to carry his home county, and so you have to ask yourself, why is that? Why wasn't he able to pull out enough delegates to carry his own home county? I can point to, I don't want to bring up legal issues and personal issues, but, in Chesterfield, we read the Chesterfield Observer, and I don't know if you've had the opportunity to read that, but, in the past 2 years, he's had some issues to overcome, and, I don't want to lose the seat. We all have troubles from time to time, and, I don't really want to talk about those this morning because those are his to deal with, but, I just want to bring some fresh new leadership. I'm a small business owner. I'm a mom and a conservative. I understand the need to reduce taxes, regulations, and spending so businesses can invest, create jobs, and grow. I'm going to bring a whole new perspective as a mom. I've got 4 children. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm not a politician, and I think I'm going to bring some fresh new ideas to the state Senate. I would also tell you I have a degree in finance and management. I have a background in financial services. I'll be able to serve on the Senate Finance Committee.
Trying to figure out here what you're exactly trying to do. So what did Martin, do you know what Martin carried his district by in 2011?
I would tell you, I know where you're going with this. I don't know, to answer your question. I don't have the exact numbers to show what he did. He has not had a significant opponent since he ran in 1987. He's pretty much always gone unopposed, and I think competition is good. I think it gives people opportunity, and I think the environment is changing, just like we saw with Dave Bratt. It used to be pretty much unless the person did a terrible job, they kept their job. But now, people feel that term limits are important. I support term limits. Just because you've been in there forever doesn't mean you need to stay in there. We need to change this paradigm of career politicians. People are tired of that. They want citizen legislators instead of career politicians.
Okay, but you said earlier you were concerned about the Chesterfield seat, and you went back about his Steve Martin's lieutenant governor campaign in 2013, where he came in last at the convention. But in 2011, he went unopposed, raised $215,000, and got 94.7%. So the guy got almost 95%. Looks like it's a pretty Republican district to me, so I don't think that seat is going to be at risk. And I just looked VPAC up, and no Democrat has filed for that. So it seems like this is going to be decided right in the primary. So, Amanda, give us some meat here. Give us some specific policy differences that you have with Senator Martin.
Okay, well, I guess one of the biggest things is back in 2007, whenever we have him supporting the 2007 Virginia Transportation Plan, and he even went back and said, look, I shouldn't have voted for that. But he did. I mean, this was before the Tea Party. I mean, the Tea Party came around in 2009. This was 2007. The General Assembly approved the legislation, and although it was short-lived, less than a year later, the lawmakers repealed the penalties of bad drivers, which could have exceeded $1,000 amid public outcry, and the state Supreme Court struck down the regional transportation authorities, ruling that the legislature cannot delegate taxing power to unelected bodies. He voted for that. So, that's one specific issue. But I'm telling you, people here in Chesterfield, Amelia, and Colonial Heights are ready for change. I go door to door about 18 hours a week. I'm talking to people that are in his Sunday school class, people that, our neighborhoods back up to each other. Steve and I are in a part of the same communities, and they're ready for a change. I mean, that's just what people are telling me. They said, we don't feel like someone should be in office for 30 years. They lose touch with their constituents. It's nothing that they intentionally try to do. It just happens because they get insulated and they forget what it's like to, I have 4 kids. They're in school. I'm in touch. I'm sitting there on the bleachers, the football bleachers. I have a son that plays football. I'm talking to everyday, regular families day in and day out, in my financial services business. I sit across the table from families, talking with them about their financial situation and helping them come up with solutions. And so I'm in touch. I hear what they're saying. And I think Dave Brad is a good example of that. What they're saying is this: we do not want career politicians. They just don't. So we're going to give them an opportunity. I think competition is healthy. Ultimately, it comes down to the voters. And I think it's great that we have competition. And if he is the nominee, well then, that's great. But at least people have a choice. And I think over the past couple decades, they haven't had a choice. I mean, the only serious opponent that he has had, which I wouldn't even really consider serious, was Roger Hayback many years ago. Mm-hmm. And he has been uncontested by a Republican to this day. And so I'll be the first one to do that.
Well, he also ran for the congressional nomination when Eric Cantor first got the nomination. That was some time back. But look, so Amanda, it sounds to me, if I can interpret what you're saying here, give me a little leeway, is that you're endorsing term limits. So if you were to get elected, would you self-impose term limits on yourself?
Absolutely.
How long?
I don't think anyone should be in office longer than 10 years. I feel like we need to do a better job as Republicans of preparing new leadership while we're still in office. You take advantage of your legislative aid. Maybe let that person be the next person that comes in and runs the state Senate. I mean, you need someone that's going to be experienced and understands how the General Assembly works, and we're not really doing that like we should. So, I would like to change that paradigm from career politicians to citizen legislators and to do a better job preparing new leadership so that whenever we do term limit ourselves, that there's someone that is ready to go, and not starting from scratch again.
Well, just two quick comments. Senate terms are 4 years each. So if you were term limiting yourself to 10, I think what you're saying is you would, you would only run two terms or three.
Yeah, we're not going to split hairs today, but I'd say in two, no more than 3 terms. Honestly, I'll be fine with just one, but, I'm not going to, I would say at the most 3, but I'm thinking, no more 20-year political career politicians. That's just too long, and that's what we have in this particular case. It's just too long. 2 to 3 terms is enough. Let's get back in the private sector. Let's have a real job. Let's remember what it's like to be an everyday Joe, going to work, coming home, having a small business, whatever your trade, whatever, don't lose touch with the real people, because I think we'll have more effective legislators if they are close to the ground, having the same challenges, opportunities, struggles that everyday people are having.
Amanda, Senator Martin aside, when you talk about career politicians and getting back into the private sector, Amanda, all legislators in Virginia, I think they make about, $15,000, $18,000. So unless they're retired or on a pension or something, the overwhelming majority, whether it be Senator Martin or Speaker Bill Howell or Kirk Cox or someone else, they're making about $18,000. So just about every one of them that are not either independently wealthy or in retirement from the private sector, all of them have a job. Steve Martin is a salesman. He has a job, and that's how he makes his money to support his family. So, and that's not unique. Everybody that I talk to, they can on my show, that's in the General Assembly, as soon as it's over, they have to go back and make money, and they have a job because they're only in session for 8 to 12 weeks. So how do you reconcile that with a career politician?
Well, because I think what I have seen personally from working with over 23 Republican candidates is what typically happens is that they are not able to focus as much time on their business, and as a result, it suffers. I know that, and I won't mention names, but a dear friend of mine who is in the House, they had a small business, and now they're selling that part of their business to their partner because they said the demands of being in the General Assembly are so great that they have to refocus their attention to their seat. And so they've sold their, part of the business. And that happens all the time. I know even when Ken Cuccinelli, I helped him when he ran for Attorney General, and he said, now it's time to get back to work. I got to rebuild my business, and it's just so demanding. The jobs of being a state senator are demanding, as well as being in the House. And so it is a balancing act. The governor can call you back in session at any point, so you have to have a job that allows you to have that type of flexibility just to, drop things very quickly and, take care of the people's work.
Well, all right, Amanda Chase, we're out of time. I want to thank you for joining us today and explaining your candidacy for State Senate District 11 Republican side. This is going to be decided in a June primary. Amanda, if people want more info on your candidacy or your campaign, where do they go?
Thanks for asking. Chase, the number 4, Senate.com.